Hi everyone, Cindy Squirrel here. Well, I'm out in my pantry and along my top shelf and this shelf and this shelf is my apothecary. And I'm going to take all these down and I am going to tell you what I do with all these beautiful herbs. I've got everything out on my table and I'm going to go through everything for you. Okay, first up on the docket, Berock Root. Now, Berock Root, you harvest it the fall of the first year and cleans the liver, kidneys. When they are clean, your body can fight cancer, psoriasis, etc. and your arthritis will go away. Now I make it into a tincture. So this is vodka. Tinctures are vodkas in my house. But I mix it with dandelion root too. So I infuse it in the vodka for sometimes 3-6 months, whatever. And then I strain the pulp away and then I bottle it. And what I do is I just throw a little bit in my coffee in the morning, like a splash in my coffee. Now remember, I'm not telling you to use any of these. I'm just telling you what I do and what I have done for years. I am, you know, that sheet that you get when you purchase a drug and it has the side effects? Well, I swear to God that I wrote all of those because I am allergic to everything and I will have every side effect that is there. So I cannot use anything, even a simple aspirin, nothing. So next on my list is Caluya. Now there's the flowers, pulled off the petals, and this is the Caluya. Now this is an oil, extra virgin olive oil, and use just the leaves pulled off. Use it for any recipe in cooking that calls for saffron. Use it in rice recipes. You can use it in soap to make it the color. You can put it into a salve. That's why it's in an oil. Anything in an oil I make into a salve. And it's an antibiotic, it's viral, bacterial, good for herpes, cold sores, chicken pox, but you can actually eat it and throw it in soups and salads. Now, chamomile, oh, I don't have much left, and I just dry it. It takes a lot of those little wee flowers to make a bit, and I use it in tea. And it will take 2 years for your crop of chamomile to be, you know, producing a lot. But I use it to soothe the gut. I drink it in tea. It's calming. Have a tea of chamomile tea before you go to bed for a good night's sleep. Oh, I forgot. When I get a lot more chamomile, I can make it into an oil, then make it into a salve, and it is really good for nerve pain. Dandelion. And then I infuse it for 6 weeks to 6 months in the oil, strain it out, and then I make a salve out of it. For cold sores, and I tell you, it stops those cold sores in their tracks. It reduces acne and is said to have anti-aging properties. Ooh-wee, I'm gonna have a bath in that tonight. Now this is my very first thing I ever did was with Comfrey. And everybody goes, oh my God, Comfrey's so toxic. Yeah, just about everything is toxic. And I read somewhere, before all our information up here has been censored, when I first started using this, I of course researched it, which you should do. And it said that if you consumed Comfrey 14 years eating 40 pounds a day, you could develop a liver problem. Yeah, okay, whatever. So I dry it. I put it in the extra virgin olive oil for 6 weeks to 6 months. And I make this salve, and people cannot live without this salve up here. My dad, who, yeah, he's a pharmaceutical person, he even uses it. He puts it on his feet at night. My dad is in his 90th year and he has foot pain, and he puts it on before he goes to bed so he can sleep. And I use it just about every darn night on some stiff joint, some aching muscle, my bad knees, somewhere this goes on. And the only thing is it heals it really, really quickly. If you have a cut or a scratch, it heals it too fast. So if it's a really deep cut, don't put this on, because it will heal on the outside before it heals on the inside. And what a wonderful, wonderful thing for muscle pain. Another use for Comfrey is fertilizer. My uncle, he makes a soup out of it, or a tea, or whatever you call it. He puts water on it, puts it in a bucket, lets it ferment, and oh my gosh, does it stink. And that's the only fertilizer he uses on his garden. Now plantain. That's another one that I make into a salve. So we have dried plantain, then we have it infused in the olive oil, and then you make the salve out of it. Now you don't have to make the salve out of it. You could just use the oil. It's just gonna be oilier and get your clothes oiled. But this one is for bug bites, stings, sunburn, scrapes, and dry skin. I use this one in the wintertime for my dry skin. Now, if you're out in the bush and you get stung by a wasp or a bee, you find a plantain plant, pop it in your mouth, chew it up a little bit, and then put it on that sting, and it will draw out, you know, and then sting's gone. Okay, wild strawberry leaves. Anti-cancer potential. Good for arthritis, gastro problems, antioxidants, boost immune system, high blood pressure, and respiratory. Goldenrod. It is, you use the leaves and the flowers, and it's for allergies. So if it was fresh out of the field, you'd put 2 teaspoons to 1 cup of water. This is dried, so it'd be 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of water. So you make a tea out of it and drink it, and it will relieve your allergy symptoms. Another one of my favorite is Mullen. And Mullen is good for coughs and asthma, and I just smoke it. I just light a leaf and inhale the smoke. Some people would roll it up into like a cigarette form or whatever. If you had a pipe, I'd put it in a pipe, and it clears up the cough for me. Now another is the mullein flower. And talk about tedious work, picking mullein flowers. Yeah, but if you get enough, you can infuse it in, I've infused it in olive oil. And if I have an earache, I just warm up the oil a little bit on a teaspoon and put it in my ear, and it takes away the earache. Next is cilantro. I don't have much left, but a nice cilantro tea. It rids the body of any heavy metals that you have in your system. It lowers your blood sugar if you have a urinary tract infection. And spearmint and peppermint, a couple of my favorite teas. Now spearmint, it soothes the stomach. Peppermint is antimicrobial, antispasmodic, antiviral. It's an expectorant. It stimulates digestion, and it's sort of a sedative. So great before you go to bed at night. Now, I have more yarrow hanging, not in the jar, but just hanging. And it increases your stomach acid to improve digestion. It relaxes the smooth muscle in the intestine, the uterus, relieves stomach aches, period cramps, liver inflammation, and it's good for sweating out the fever. So another good one. You've probably heard of fireweed. And there is lots of it up here, and it is good for men with prostate problems. It's good if you have for women for yeast infection. It's got for hemorrhoids, diarrhea, cramps, and again, coughing. Now here's a good one for pain, for muscle pain, but it's also good for insomnia, and it calms down whooping cough or cough. And it's like a opium, gives you the, what's it called? Aphrodisiac. But if you notice the spines on the back of the wild lettuce, on the back of the leaf. Now we have lots of sow thistle up here. And people say, oh, well, sow thistle and wild lettuce are the same. Yeah, okay. I guess oranges are the same as apples too, but no, they're not. This it might have the same properties, but it might not have all the same properties. Wild lettuce is wild lettuce. And what I do with it is a tincture in vodka. And having a rough day, and tinctures, you either put a couple drops under your tongue, or I like to just throw it in my coffee, just a little splash. Now here's a fun one. Beautiful red clover. And it's red clover, it's not Alsac, which is white with pink tips. It's red clover. And Aubrey, she likes to put red clover in vinegar and infuse it. But it is a blood thinner, so be careful. It's a blood thinner, but it removes the metabolic waste again. So another good one to get rid of all that crap out of your system. And if you got all the crap out of your system, it might prevent cancer. So there's that. So why not have a red clover tea? Now this one I don't even have labeled, but I know what it is. It's the silk off of corn. When you're husking the corn, you just snip off all the dead brown part, and of course it's almost already dry, so it doesn't take long to dry. And this is good, again, for urinary tract infection. And rosemary. Could be fresh or dried. I like to throw a whole sprig of it in when I'm roasting my chicken. You can throw it in teas, but it's Good for if you have low energy, low blood pressure, which would make you have low energy. If you have poor circulation, it improves your memory and muscle pain, your sciatic nerve, you know. So another good one to keep on hand. And here's some of my sage. Now sage, nice and warm water, brew it like a tea and gargle with it. If you have a really sore throat, you can drink the tea. Well, again, you put it in your chicken or your stuffing, and it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, fights infection, and stimulates memory. Now here's another one to gargle with for a sore throat, is just the flowers. So I haven't separated this one out, but it's self-heal. It's an astringent. Canker sores, it deadens pain and speeds healing. So another wonderful one that you have growing in your backyard.